here with all of you. I have so many actionable tools for you today because what I really care about is providing you with value. So I really want to teach you things that you can implement today right after your talk. So I have a lot to teach you, but before we get started, there is one time that you can forget all of this and it does not apply and it doesn't make sense. And that is when you are visiting your grandma. I just spent 4 days with my grandma and I had a plan. I was going to be so healthy. I was going to stick to my regular eating patterns. And then I was telling her all about nutrition, and she's cooking with full fat dairy and the real sugar and cream and butter. And I kind of just realized that that wasn't going to be a reality. And I'm still telling her about vegetables as she's putting that plate down in front of me. She's looking me dead in the eyes. And I can promise you, your grandma does not give a shit about your diet. So, now that we have gone past that caveat, let's begin. So, okay, what are we going to cover? Because I always like a roadmap and I like to know what to expect. So we're going to cover the challenges of the lifestyle because we can all appreciate the fact that there are a lot of them. It's hard to be healthy at home, it's even harder while we're traveling. And then behavior change. I went to school for neuroscience and I studied behavior change. And there's no way you can actually implement change in your life until you understand how to actually make change and make space for it in your life. Then I'll explain the biochemistry of nutrition, but because I can tell you to eat protein and healthy fats and vegetables, but it's going to be a lot more easy to implement if you understand why and what role it plays. And then I'll actually help you apply it to your daily life, no matter where you are. If that's a grocery store, a gas station, or a restaurant, which I'm sure plenty of you are going to restaurants for every meal here. And then if we have time, I'll touch on nutritional psychiatry, my absolute favorite topic. So, what's my intention? I really want to give you actionable tools and strategies to help you avoid travel burnout so that you can get really excited and have the energy and strength and enthusiasm to live your adventurous life. So, let's get into it. I'm Veronica and I'm a nomadic health coach, and staying healthy at home is really hard. Doing that as you travel the world, your time zone is constantly changing and your environment is changing is even harder. So, why should you listen to me? I've studied this for quite a long time. I have a bachelor's in neuroscience. I'm a certified health coach. I studied functional nutrition. I'm a certified fitness trainer. I'm currently studying nutritional psychiatry, and I'm a full-time digital nomad, so I've been doing this for myself. I don't teach you what to do and then go to my nice, comfortable routine. I'm actually in the trenches with you, experiencing these problems just like you are. So, the challenges. Like we said, we don't have routine. We're constantly in new environments, new cities, and new time zones, and it's really hard to stay consistent. There's also a lot of friction to eating well. We're going to restaurants. We don't have our full kitchen that we might at home. People we're traveling with don't have the same priorities, so it is harder. We also want to meet new people, and where does that usually happen? Bars, meetups, there's a lot of drinking, and it's hard to balance the two, making friends and still prioritizing your health. It's also challenging to constantly be trying to figure out what's my healthy decision. We're trying to figure out where we're going. Are we flying there? Are we taking a bus? Where's a good restaurant? Is this a safe neighborhood? We're constantly making decisions, and then making decisions about our health is even more challenging. And then also, sometimes you do gain weight. There is really good food, or you're just uncomfortable in your body, and that can detract from your experience. And all that together makes you really tired and question if you want to continue with this lifestyle. So, what's going to happen if you don't change anything? If you don't change any of these struggles? Don't think about it for too long because I only got 25 minutes, so we're going to move along. But once you get home, think about it. What would that look like? Okay, so behavior change. The most important thing is to focus on flexibility and adaptability. You have to have a game plan for different situations than you're in. Your life in a city is going to look very different than your routine maybe in a small town like this. So, start small. Choose one thing. If you get something from my presentation, choose one thing and implement it, because if you choose something that's really, really easy, you're going to do it every day. You're going to become consistent, and then you're going to see changes. That's going to get you really excited. You're going to be motivated to add more new changes into your lifestyle, and then you'll see more and more success. So start small, let it snowball, and let that be your motivation. So, cues and triggers. At home, when we have the same routine every single day, there are things that we see in our daily life that remind us to do a certain behavior. Let's say you're driving home from work, you pass by your gym, you're like, oh, this is my cue to turn into the parking lot and go get my workout in. Well, if we're in a different city every single month, that's not necessarily going to happen because we don't have that permanent gym. So we have to find cues in our daily life that actually travel with us that can remain permanent no matter where we are. So an example of this is, I know some people, like myself, who travel with a yoga mat. If it is part of your routine to do a yoga flow as soon as you wake up, just a couple of stretches, roll that out in front of your bed, you wake up, you see it, and you think, oh, okay, this is when I do yoga. So something that can travel with you. Another example of a flexible or adaptable cue is, let's say you want to start taking supplements. Put those supplements next to your toothbrush. Hopefully, you brush your teeth every single day, and hopefully, you travel with your toothbrush. Perfect. That is a cue that travels with you. You also have to make it obvious. You need to see it in front of you. And you also need to make it exciting. For example, I leave my favorite podcasts for my workout so that when I go to work out, I'm rewarded with my favorite podcast. So next up, I have the 3-step habit formula, and I don't have it written here on screen, but listen up. This will help you implement any new behavior into your day. So first of all, what's the new change going to be? What's the new behavior? When are you going to do it, and at what time? That's the first step. Second step. What is the behavior that you do every single day? And then after you do that behavior every single day, you are going to implement the second behavior. Third part is, after that new behavior, how am I going to reward myself? So those are the 3 things that you want to write down, and that's going to help you. All right, and then finally, behavior is contagious. So if there's behavior that you want to adapt, find people who are doing that and go hang out with them. That might not be super easy as you're traveling around, but Active Nomad is actually helping solve that problem. So go work out with them, join their app because they are trying to build community around fitness. So that is going to be a great solution. Join a virtual community that focuses on health so that when you're feeling demotivated, you have people to talk to. Hey guys, I don't feel like going and doing a workout. Can someone give me words of motivation to help me get through that workout? So surround yourself with people who prioritize health. So I can tell you what to eat and what to do, but it's going to be a lot more helpful if you understand the why behind it. So I'm going to go through the roles that each of these macromolecules has in our body. So protein, first of all, the function is structure. And yes, you're going to think muscle. And a lot of, especially women, might avoid protein because they think, I don't want to build muscle. But there's so much more than that. It is part of your bones. It is part of your ligaments and tendons and joints, as well as your skin. Your skin has protein. So if you want healthy skin, you need protein. The infrastructure of your cells is also made of protein. So you need it for so much more than just muscle. Also, to be able to extract energy from food, we need enzymes to catalyze biochemical reactions. And those are made of protein. So we need protein to actually absorb energy from our food. And that is the case for not just extracting energy from food, but all biochemical reactions in the body. We rely on protein. Also, a majority of our immune system is made of protein, and if we're traveling, coming into contact with different foods, germs, lots of people, we need a strong immune system so that we can keep traveling. And then also, who knew that neurotransmitters like dopamine, serotonin, adrenaline, those are all made of proteins? Not many people do. So if you care about your mental health, you want to focus on proteins. Hormones are also made of protein. So if you want to have a child, if you want to be fertile, if you want to have a lot of testosterone, you need to prioritize protein. So I don't care if you're plant-based, carnivore, a mix of both. Here are a couple of examples. So animal proteins, you can have fish, chicken, steak, eggs, Greek yogurt, seafood, canned fish. And if you are plant-based, you can eat edamame, tofu, tempeh, lentils, beans, quinoa. There's a lot of options. Next up, healthy fats. So this is my favorite because I really care about the health of the brain. So healthy fats are super important for focus, memory, cognition, sleep, mental health, and again, hormone production. So that communication. Hormones are mostly made up of steroids, like cholesterol, and those are fats. They're also really anti-inflammatory. A lot of our daily life causes inflammation in our body, in our system, whether that's pollution, disease, different chemicals that we come into contact with. So healthy fats actually can quell that inflammation and bring our body back into balance. So these are a list of healthy foods. We've got avocados, egg yolks, nuts and seeds, fatty fish, grass-fed beef. You can take a photo of that. Fiber and complex carbs is going to be our last category. And you can really group this into plants. Plants have a lot of antioxidants and vitamins. That's going to help us prevent disease and keep us healthy and prevent oxidative stress. And then also digestive regulation. Let's not beat around the bush. Travel definitely causes travel backup, and fiber is going to be really helpful for you here so that you're a nicer, less angry person. I promise you, if you eat chia pudding and flax seeds every single day, you will not have a problem with that because they are packed with fiber. And then also, fiber is really important for the microbiome. The microbiome, don't get me started on it because I absolutely nerd out and you won't be able to get me to stop, just a warning. But it's really important for feeding the microbiome, which actually connects our gut to our brain, and there's a lot of communication right there. And then our microbiome is one of the main barriers to our immune system, and it helps prevent pathogens and diseases from crossing into our bloodstream, getting us sick. Also, it really affects our mental health, so it helps us reduce stress. And the microbiome actually also helps produce neurotransmitters and hormones as well. So we want to feed those gut bugs. So now I've explained why you need all those three, and now I'm going to teach you how to actually apply it to the most unconventional, hardest situations. I've talked to so many people who said, well, sometimes I'm walking down the city and I don't have anything, or I left the house and I don't have anything healthy. Well, I have been in the most rural places, in the sketchiest of gas stations, and I've still been able to prioritize my health. I'm not telling you to eat clean and perfect 100% of the time. My goal is to teach you how to make the best decisions you can given the circumstances you are in. So let's say we are at a gas station. Actually, the bottom right corner is a photo from Patagonia in Argentina. When I was on the way to the airport, I popped into a grocery store and a gas station, and I got some smoked trout. That's my protein. I got some raw mixed nuts, those are my healthy fats, and I got an apple, and that is my fiber. So that, I consider that a meal. I was happy with that. Are they 3 random things? Absolutely. But I covered all my bases. So you can go to the grocery store, you can get hummus, you can get veggies, that's mozzarella, healthy fats, and protein. So whenever I go, I try and focus on these 3 categories and say, do I have one of these? Do I have one of these? Do I have one of these? It doesn't have to be a fancy meal that you cook up in your kitchen. We're focusing on making healthy choices no matter where you are. Airports, they have so many options these days. Pretzels with hummus, hard-boiled eggs, you can find those everywhere. Greek yogurt cups are really popular. Nuts, raw nuts are everywhere. So when I hear, oh, but I can't find anything healthy, yes, you can. There's so many options. You just have to think about it differently and start finding, okay, I know what proteins are. What's my favorite? These are my favorites, this is what I'm looking for. Canned fish is almost everywhere. If you don't like canned fish, that's totally fine. If you do, that's a perfect option for you. So what I want you to do is, I gave you some examples of all these 3 categories. Maybe go online, look at longer lists, and think, okay, you know what? I like these proteins. I don't like these ones, but I know about these. I don't like these healthy fats. I really like these ones. And then you have a bank in your mind of what your favorite proteins are, what you can eat, and what you can find in different situations. So the same process you can now adapt to restaurants. How many of you have been eating most of your meals at restaurants this week? Oh, twice a day? 2 restaurants a day? Yeah, okay, so let's learn how to apply this to restaurants. How many of you walk in a restaurant hoping that you're going to make a good decision, and then You walk in, you start smelling the smells from the kitchen. You walk past plates that look really good. Your friends start talking about the pasta dish that they're going to order, and you say, fuck it. I'm going to enjoy myself. And then before the waiter even comes, you've eaten all the bread. And then you get appetizers. And then you choose the pasta dish. And then somehow you're eating dessert and you've had 3 cocktails. Sound familiar? Yeah, okay. I'm not saying you can't do that. It was my birthday last week and my dad took me to a Michelin restaurant. Do you think I was ordering a salad? No. I enjoyed myself. But 80% of the time, you want to prioritize your nutrition so that then if you go to a fancy restaurant, you can say, okay, I don't care. I'm going to order whatever sounds good. So here is my step-by-step process that I take whenever I go to a restaurant. This is literally how my brain works. I've been doing this for years, even before I put words to it. So you can go ahead and take a photo of all of these, and then I'm going to shorten it a little bit. My biggest tip is check the menu ahead of time. So if I can, which to be honest, you're probably not going to find that in Bansko, but I try and make a decision before I'm hungry, before I smell the smells, before I hear what my friends are going to order. I try and find 3 healthy options on the menu and say, okay, you know what, these are 3 safe options. I'm going to choose one of these. Then when I get to the restaurant, I'll say, okay, actually, this one sounds the best. This is what I'm going to order. That is a really safe way to plan ahead and say, I'm not going to look at the menu. I already know what I'm getting. So that's a big one. Second one is, even though I'm not vegan or vegetarian, I always check the vegetarian options first because I know those are going to have so many veggies. Then I see if I can add grilled chicken, salmon, seafood to that. That's always an option. And then going back to the 3 categories that I had before, I try and get all 3 of those on my plate. And then a big thing that I do is I look for keywords. I have keywords that I look for, and I have keywords that I avoid. And that goes for both veggies and protein. So I look for words like grilled, baked, seared, steamed, sauteed, seasonal, fresh, seasonal veggies, things like that. And I avoid words like fried, deep fried, breaded, cheesy, creamy. Those are, and you don't even need to, sorry, did I just mention all the good words? Let me just get off stage now. But sometimes you don't even have to understand like the whole picture. You can just look for those words and say, oh, okay, grilled, let me read that description. So I first choose, I start with protein, I prioritize protein, I look for a good protein source, and then I look at what it comes with, the sides. And my next big tip is to share or order it on the side. If there's something that looks really good, if there's a mac and cheese dish, if you saw 5 people who ordered a plate of fries and they're garlic fries with a little bit of Parmesan or truffle oils, please order the fries. Those are going to be so good. But order it as a side and tell the whole table, hey, everyone, this is to share. You're going to get to try the flavors. You're going to have some, but then if you offer it to everybody, you know, you're going to share it and you won't be tempted to order the whole thing. Or eat the whole thing. And then another tactic is to share. The other day, I went out to dinner with Grayson and we shared a couple of plates because we wanted to try a couple of different flavors. We ordered salad, but then we ordered a whole bunch of grilled meat and we got to try a couple of different things. And maybe you want to try a pasta dish and it's not the healthiest option, but you say, hey, how about we do seafood and a pasta dish? We can both try some of the flavors. That's a perfect way to go about it. So now I'm going to touch briefly on nutritional psychiatry. This is a really, really interesting field that is emerging. There's a lot of research going on here, and before I dive into this at all, I want to say that mental health is a very complex topic, and nutrition can be a small part of that. I'm not saying that you are going to heal everything through nutrition, but it is something that can support your health and empower you to feel better. So, our lives are very stressful. A lot of us own businesses, a lot of us are self-employed, a lot of us are far from our families or trying to do long-distance relationships. Some people have kids. That's stressful. Now add travel to all of that as well. You miss your flight. Your luggage doesn't arrive. Am I in a safe part of town? Which neighborhood should I live in? There's so many things that add to the challenges of this lifestyle. And in those moments, a lot of us want to reach for comfort foods. However, that is adding fuel to the fire. Those foods are going to make us feel even worse and add more stress to our lifestyle. So, the macromolecules we talked about are going to support our health if you choose the right ones. So I'm not talking specifically to anybody who is keto, I'm talking to a majority of the population. But carbs are going to be our brain's preferred energy source because it is the fastest way our brain gets energy. And our brain is energetically expensive and it wants energy all the time. So that's going to be fast energy. Fats. Healthy fats are my favorite macromolecule because I'm so passionate about mental health and optimal functioning of the brain. So healthy fats are going to support our memory, our cognition, our sharpness, and there's so much research currently going on about how healthy fats can reduce depression. There's a whole theory called the macrophage theory of depression. It talks about how if you prioritize omega-3s, it's actually going to quell the inflammation in our brain that can cause mental health issues. I also know that healthy fats can support the development or the easing of dementia. I wrote my thesis on how nutrition can worsen or improve Alzheimer's disease, so it is a favorite topic of mine. And then, like we mentioned before, proteins help create neurotransmitters. So depression, low dopamine, serotonin, high anxiety, low serotonin. So if we prioritize proteins, they're going to help us with our mental health. So what are foods that we can choose from? Omega-3s. So we already talked about that. The walnuts, the salmon, the fatty fish, the olives, the olive oils, berries, blueberries, strawberries, raspberries. Those are really, really good for our brain. And then micronutrients. Those can be found in seafood and grains. So think zinc, iron, magnesium, selenium, and then fiber, of course, to feed the microbiome because that helps support the communication between our gut and our brain, and which foods we want to avoid. So anything that is inflammatory. Like I said, we don't want to add fuel to the fire. We actually want to support ourselves and make us more resilient to stress and actually help prepare ourselves. So we're going to avoid things like refined seed oils, sugars, colorings, additives, things like that. So try and stick to whole foods. So in conclusion, why do I care about this? Because my goal is to travel around the world and do epic shit. I want to go on big adventures. I need my health and strength to support that. So your epic adventure might look nothing like me, but I know we all like to travel. So I want your health to lead you to your biggest potential. So don't lose the adventure because we're on a good one. With that, thank you so much for being here with me. You can find me on Twitter. That is my email if you want to talk to me directly. That's my website. That is my Instagram. If anybody can guess the double meaning behind my company name, come up to me and see if you can figure it out. And here, if you scan this QR code, you'll input your email and I will send you a copy of my book. My free book, it's over 100 pages, going more in depth into everything I just talked about, including recipes that you can cook in the shittiest of Airbnb kitchens and hostels, I promise you. 3 weeks of workouts and really diving way deeper into all the topics. So if you want my book, input your email and I will email you all tonight a copy of my full book. With that, again, thank you so much. I had so much fun. And please hit me with your first question.
Thank you, Veronica. I think we can all see you're passionate about this topic.
No,
amazing. I love that you like to do epic shit.
Yes, I do.
Who else likes to do epic shit?